Hey, everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and I'm here with Chandra. And Chandra, I think this is the first show in 3 months that we haven't been harping on TWIA and what's going on there.
Definitely. Got that in
Uh,
the rearview mirror now. So
yeah, well, you're not on the board anymore.
no,
You're back to civilian life now.
yes, sir.
We're
I'll still
not
keep
gonna.
you up to date though. I'll still monitor all their stuff just to clue you in on anything that may be coming up so that we can make
Great.
sure we
Yeah,
attend
make
any
sure they don't
meetings
try and
or
sneak something through.
attend whatever meetings are necessary, make our voices heard. The good thing is they have 2 meetings a year in Galveston. Now, with the new board, they may change that
Change
up
that.
once they get a new chair, but it was working really well. So they're probably going to keep that for a while
Good.
at least.
Good.
Um,
So let's tell everyone what we're going to do now over the coming, probably through the end of the year, I'm imagining at
yeah,
least. For every business, there's a queen bee and then there's a team. And you always have the person that you talk to and see all the time, but there's always a team behind that person that makes it all possible. And you and I were talking about, we've had Dave on a couple times and he's come over here. But you've got a lot of engineers, you've got draftsmen, you've got several engineers, you've got accounting, you've got the front desk. And that,
inspectors, inspection
yeah, the
manager. Yeah, we've got a
inspectors,
lot
that's
of,
a big part of it.
that's
And
a
that's
huge part
who
of it.
people
Yeah.
see over here quite a bit because you've got an inspector over here full time.
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought. And so what we're going to do in the coming weeks and months probably is we're going to we'll have some little conversations about different things going on, but we're going to introduce you to the team, to the Aran and Franklin team, the ones that answer your questions, that design your home, that engineer your home, that inspect your home, that help you on if you have a billing question or you have just a general question. We're going to sort of introduce you on who you need to go to for what and how you can get a process started, whether it's building a home, you need home engineering, maybe you've got some property that you want divided up to do a subdivision, but we're going to introduce you to the people with Chandra and let you see exactly who does what over there so that when you're on the phone, it's always nice when you're on the phone, you know who you're talking to.
That's right.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm really, really fortunate that I have a really great team behind me. I mean, I couldn't do all this by myself. I mean, I try to know how to do everything, but I can't do it
right.
all myself. So I'm really fortunate that I have, Dave Franklin, who's my brother, my baby brother, and you wouldn't know it by looking at him because he's 6'9"
I was
and
going to say,
present.
there's no baby there.
No, there's no. He's got a baby face though. He's still got a baby face, but he's been with us for 13 years already. So he was in construction before he came on with us. He had his own construction company, and so he's really knowledgeable about not only the day to day engineering stuff that we need to do in the operations because that's his role as the operations COO, but he also runs our sister company, which is WinPro Builders, and WinPro is a construction company. So he splits his time between Aran Franklin and WinPro to not only design houses and commercial buildings, but to also construct or renovate them. So he's really knowledgeable about that whole aspect of things. And then I have the next tier down is my managers who I have, of course, Amy. You talked about
Right.
Amy. She's our accounting manager. She handles all of our AP, AR. We do have a billing clerk that works with her. And then we have Tim, who's our inspection manager. He's over all our inspectors and sets up our inspection and safety program. And then we have Rachel, who's our production manager, who handles all the engineers and drafters under her and make sure that the production, keeps flowing and that all the engineering and design questions are handled. And of course, you get things like we have code changes, like she's instrumental in making sure that all those things happen. And then we have our civil side, which is our it's a relatively new division. been doing civil design kind of on an outsourced basis for a long time. And then we were like, why are we doing this? Let's just bring it in house. So about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now, January will be 2 years, we brought in house a civil manager, and we've got civil drafters, and then I do, the engineering part. So we have like a civil design team now. So
Mhm.
Andy Helgeson is our civil manager. And it's funny, we say we never really lose employees. They just, they're just either they boomerang back.
Uh-huh.
And Andy is one of those people. Andy started working for us, gosh, probably like 2013 or 14, worked for us 4 or 5 years, kind of went out on his own for a while, worked for somebody else for a while, worked for us on
Right.
contract, and then came back full time. So I mean, everybody
Right.
just kind of comes full circle. I've had a lot of my contract employees that I have right now are people that used to work for me,
Right.
because it's like they may have moved on to another opportunity, but they still love us. They still want to work with us. They still,
Right.
can help support us in our business as our business fluctuates. So
Well,
it's
they
really
know your
nice.
business and they know your customers, a lot of them too, and so
Exactly.
that
And
always.
they can just do some of that work behind the scenes, and they don't
Right.
have to really be that forward facing customer person, but they can just help keep the workflow going, which is really nice.
Right.
And it really helps us kind of, because our business, just like most, it's up and down, it's
Mhm.
seasonal. It's based on, you know, the weather, the interest rates, what the housing market looks like, if people are wanting to build on spec or not, or if they're only doing contract jobs. And so it's really nice to have some flexibility when we have a huge influx come in,
Right.
to pull in some of those contractors to help us out and help us. Like one of the contractors we're using right now, she worked for us, gosh, like 2008, 9, and then she left, and then she came back for another couple, 3 years, and then she left again, and she's been doing contract work for us ever since. So I mean, it's just nice to have that continuity. So even people that aren't here
Are
are
still
still
doing
people that
it.
we've had for years and
Yeah.
years and years. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of continuity with, when it's so funny, like our drawings, we use a drawing template. And so when we do our drawings, I'll see people spray painting on the house, like the symbols that we use on our drawing for like hold downs and things like that. So it's like they're so ingrained in our process too, because we're so consistent. Like if
Right.
I we use the same symbols, we put stuff on the same place on the drawing, so everybody knows where
Right.
everything is, and it's clean, it's easy. We don't have a lot of people calling us saying, "Where's this?" and "I can't find that,"
Right.
and this was this symbol last time, and now it's this symbol. So everything's very streamlined and consistent. So there, if you see that symbol, you know what that means. You don't have
Right.
to go, well, on this set of drawings it means this, but on the next set of drawings it means
Yeah.
that. And
You've
there's
got
just
a
that
key.
consistency. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we try to streamline everything. The big change that we had most recently was in 2020. They updated the code change. We had not had a code change in about over a decade, and so. But the state made a code change, which that's what the county recognizes as the state's
Mhm.
code change for TDI. So we had to upgrade like all our templates and all of our
Mhm.
calculation sheets and all those things. So we've, once we made those adjustments, we didn't really change our template. We just changed a few little minor things that changed on the windstorm
Right.
side of things, on the design side. So it was, but again, I mean, we might do that once a decade. So I mean, it's going to stay the same going forward. So
Right. Well, I look forward to it because I've worked with you now for it's don't take this wrong. It seems like forever because of the TWIA stuff. But
yes,
Dave was over here for a while, and then we did a bunch of beach stuff during the pandemic. But now we're back talking about Aaron and Franklin and their team, and I look forward to it over the coming weeks. Meeting people, getting them out there to see who is Team Aaron and Franklin, and especially we've talked about the strong home protection program. We can meet people that's tied into that. We've talked about
Mhm.
some other things, and so it'll sort of let people know who's taking care of what there.
Right. And I think the other thing that people need to learn about us is like what makes us different from everybody else.
Right.
I mean, what everybody's looking for is that ability to get TWIA insurance, at the end of the day, or private insurance. But you need a certificate in order to do that. And that piece of paper, you can get that piece of paper from anybody, but when you get that piece of paper from us, there's a guarantee that goes with that. There's a reputation of over 25 years that goes behind that. There's the team of people that I have that goes behind that. And so I think there's a lot less risk when you use somebody like us, because we're out there looking at it, we're inspecting it, we're verifying products, we're making sure that your home is being built in accordance with the plan set. And unfortunately, a lot of our competitors, they don't have the breadth of the inspection program that we have. And I feel like that is the one thing that really differentiates us, is that we physically go out and look at your stuff. We don't phone it in. We don't let the contractor take photos and send it in to us. We put our eyeballs on it. And so it's just a really different way of doing things. It's not as, cost effective to do it that way. And so we're not always the cheapest option. But it's the best option.
Cheaper is not better,
No, it's not. And some people are always looking at that bottom line. And I understand that cost is definitely a factor. But when you're talking about our fee in relationship to the project, it's a very, very small portion of that. So, and to have that security and that confidence that your project is really going to be scrutinized and evaluated. And we don't just rubber stamp stuff and move it forward. Like I see reports every single day from my field team that says, this needs a corrective action. This wasn't done correctly. This is missing things, and so well,
it has to, because you never know when one of those storms are going to come in, or an Arctic front, or we're going to get that wind. And down here, most of our stuff is probably wind, unless it's rising water or something. And so that, you can't fudge on stuff.
No,
like
and let me tell you, David, what the biggest thing is like when we start seeing those little orange and yellow spots in the Gulf of Mexico, I don't want to stress out about that. I don't want to go, oh my gosh, is the stuff that I've got going on, is that going to be a liability for me? Because you never remove yourself. You never remove yourself from that liability. You never remove yourself from that liability. I will always have that liability. And so I want to make sure that the product that we put out there, that we've inspected, that we make sure is good, and I don't lose sleep over it. And after the storm, usually what I see after the storm has nothing to do with me. It's either beyond what we designed for, which happens. Of course, we have a limit to what we're designed for, or it's somebody else's junk that flew into my my good project.
We had a lot of that during Ike, and it was mainly, it wasn't design. I don't think it was old telephone poles, because the houses were built and they all needed to be replaced. So, they were all
low. They were all below flood elevation, and so they just got annihilated.
Well, I look forward to the coming weeks, meeting everyone, getting them on here. Let's see who freezes up, because they're on camera with us, and we'll go from there. But I can tell you, over the next probably 2 to 3 months, we're going to be introducing you to Team Aran and Franklin here on Ball Over Live, and I look forward to it. Well, Chandra, we're going to head on out. Thanks for joining us this morning. Until next time, I'm David with Ball Over Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye.